Hey YouTube, Jeff checking in. Hope you're all well today. Today I'm going to do a quick update on my Microstock strategy. Now I've posted videos on trying to generate better income using Microstock sites as a platform to sell your photographs. And as you probably know if you're watching this video, or if you've seen my past videos or other YouTube contributors that discuss Microstock, revenue is generally declining for many of us, perhaps not all. Maybe some of the better or the bigger contributors are still doing well, I'm not sure. But I'm not doing as well. Things have just generally declined. COVID hasn't helped, in part because I'm a travel-oriented photographer, and so it hasn't been the best for me. But I've tried to not complain, be a victim, and just we can all complain, right? So anyway, the other day I watched a contribution by Photorloo. I think it's James Wheeler is his name. It's when you brand yourself other than by your name, it can be a little bit challenging to remember what your name is as a person. I think it's James Wheeler. His YouTube channel is Photorloo anyway. And I watch his earnings videos. They're quite interesting, and I recommend that you do the same if you're interested in Microstock and you're not already watching his videos. But what his last earnings report showed, and what some previous earnings reports showed, is that his free contribution sites were actually starting to overtake his Microstock sites in terms of revenue. And so what that means is these free sites that allow you to download for free, they have different rules on attribution, but they also generally provide a option to tip or provide a little donation for use. Most people don't, but you get a few. So if you have a high volume of downloads, maybe you'll get a few tips, and maybe that'll turn into a little bit of money. Now, these sort of sites are something that I've actually avoided like the plague. I see them as part of the problem with Microstock. The new free model, I think, is really undercutting the value of Microstock, and that's one of the problems, and I think one of the reasons why Microstock revenue has declined. Because, look at the world we're in right now. Everybody's trying to cut back on costs. Everybody's trying to save money. Travel agencies, travel board, or like tourism boards, all these various companies that typically use travel images, I can totally see them using the free image sites over the paid sites simply because of the costs associated with, or saving the costs associated with finding images. And in a market today, or in an environment today where saving every dollar might be the difference between being in business and out of business, it doesn't surprise me. So, the facts being what they are, I sat down and I tried to decide on how I could integrate these free sites into my own process, into my overall Microstock strategy, my approach to photos and getting them out there generally. And with James, or Photorloo's Photorloo, getting some results with that, I think it's worth trying. And as I say, facts don't care about my feelings. So even though I don't like, or maybe it upsets me that photos are being downloaded for free on these sites, it's just, that's the fact. That's where things are at now, and so I gotta deal with that. So I'm gonna talk you through my strategy really briefly, and then I'd love to hear your comments on what my thoughts are, and whether you think this is viable, or whether you think I can improve, or tips on how I go forward with this. Okay, so basically my portfolio, like I mentioned, is travel oriented, but I do shoot other stuff. I do shoot some architectural photography, and I also shoot landscape. I live in Calgary, and Calgary is close to some of the most beautiful landscapes on Earth. We have the Rocky Mountains right beside us. We have the prairies to the east. And so I have done quite a bit of landscape, but it's never been something that's really sold very well in my portfolio. So here's some examples of some of the landscapes that I've taken in the past and that I've uploaded to Microstock, but have never really done that much. So what I'm thinking is that because these shots do not necessarily generate much income, this might be a good place to start on the websites that are free. So the first thought is to include images on these websites now. And I should mention, for the time being at least, I plan on just uploading images and not videos. And so we'll see how this goes, and maybe videos will come later. I do time-lapse clips quite often, so I have a bunch of time-lapse, but I want to hold off on that. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, the landscape images are going to go up on the free sites. The second thing is I have done a lot of travel photography in high volume locations where there is just a ton of competition on Microstock sites. And I'm not competing very successfully in that space. I mean, places like Amsterdam, Paris, London, New York, these places that I've been and that I've uploaded photos onto Microstock sites after I've been there. I do sell, actually. I do sell Amsterdam, I do sell Paris, I do sell New York, and London, but not that much. And it's mostly with a few images. So I think what I'll do is I'll look at my portfolio and see what might go up that hasn't really sold, but still is kind of maybe of interest to people. And I'll throw a few examples of the kind of images that I'm thinking about right now. Okay, the last thing that I was thinking about was that particularly the way Microstock algorithms work on these sites is that once an image gets old, if it never really gets picked up, it's really hard for that to see the light of day. And so I thought what I'd do is look at my portfolio, look at some of the old stuff that maybe sold at one time, maybe didn't sell, but is old enough now that I don't actually think that there's much chance that it'll get picked up by buyers. Now, in the past, it has been the case, and I've been surprised by it, where old photos have sold kind of out of the blue. And that's nice to have happen. But it doesn't happen that much. And it happens less and less all the time, at least now that the revenue is declining and the sales are declining. So those are going to be the three areas where I'm going to try to come up with a curated portfolio on these free sites. I'm going to try to be selective, try to throw up, for the most part, at least good stuff, rather than putting up a whole bunch like I do with Microstock sites. And I'm going to see how that goes. Like I said, just images for now. In the future video, and hopefully I can generate some revenue using those free sites. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if I didn't mention it earlier yet, go check out the Photorloo YouTube channel. James Wheeler's got some good stuff up there, and shout out to him because I'm using his strategy right now, and so credit where credit is due. Thanks for watching, and please do subscribe to my channel. I'm not gonna lie, YouTube and uploading videos related to Microstock on YouTube is actually an additional element of my Microstock strategy, and it's useless if I don't have subscribers that get me to the level that qualifies me for the partner program. So yeah, if you got anything out of this, and if I earned your subscription, please do subscribe, and I will see you soon on the next video. All right, take care.